Hang on. Can you hear me now? I don't know why it went into private mode. Hang on. How about now?
Okay,
Okay, there you are. I'm heading down to Finley.
off to Finley.
Yep. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode here on Crum's YouTube channel. And as the beginning said, I'm heading down to Finley on one of my blocks that I'm doing for Amazon Flex. So now that I got a couple weeks underneath my belt, I thought I'd give you some of the pros and cons of what I found out so far about Amazon Flex. And there's going to be a lot more. These are just some of the things that I've seen since I've started about 3 weeks ago now. So like always, we're going to talk about my perspective as being a 72-year-old, yeah, senior citizen that's doing this. I'm retired. I don't have to work. I want to work. So I'm going to do some pros and some cons about things that I have found out so far that makes it good and bad for being a flex driver as a senior. So we'll start off with some of the pros. So the first one is going to be a flexible schedule. So I went ahead and scheduled some blocks for me. And if you don't know, if you're just watching this to figure out whether or not you want to do flex driving or not, a block is basically the time period that you're going to be doing it. I generally take about a 4.5 hour time period, so I take a 4.5 hour block. Now, right now, most 4.5 hour blocks pay around $88 if you take them up as soon as you get them. I try, for me, I want to know what days I'm going to work, so because I need to prepare for them. So I try to get them a couple, 3 days ahead. Now I know some of the other people don't like doing that. They want everyone to wait to just before the blocks are available, so the prices go up. I get that. Absolutely I get that. But for me, that just doesn't work for me. I live about an hour away from the terminal, and I want to go get my job done, and I want to come back home because I got things I need to do. So if it's Tuesday and I can only work, say, from noon to 6 o'clock, well, if there's a block that opens up within that time frame, I can take it. If I want to work the mornings, I want to go in at 8 o'clock in the morning, I can go in at 8 o'clock in the morning the next day. If I get real hungry for money and I want to work a double shift, I can go in really early in the morning. And if I've scheduled something, I can do something in the afternoon. Or if I get done with the route, I can go back close to or at the terminal, sit there and wait and keep refreshing the app to see if anything pops up. So I like the flexibility that it gives you. And that way you can say, yeah, you know what, I can work Tuesday, and all you have to work is Tuesday. And if something happens like it did with me today, I was supposed to be working today. This is Wednesday, and I was supposed to be working this afternoon. But unfortunately, when I went out to get into the car yesterday, the alternator went out, and I've got one on order. It'll be here in 2 days, so I had to cancel my blocks. So I canceled not only today's block, but I also canceled a block I had on Friday because just in case. I'll work at getting another block Friday if I get my car fixed tomorrow, which is Thursday, and we'll go from there. And as long as you cancel them within 45 minutes, I think it is, of the time the block starts, you're generally okay. I'm not going to wait up to the last minute. I always cancel them the night before because I will know whether or not I'm going to work the night before or not, for the most part. Alrighty, the second thing is you know what your pay is. So it doesn't matter if you have a 3 hour or a 4 hour. When you bid on that block, you're going to know what your pay is. Most of the time, what I see out there is $88. So if you bid on a route for $88, that's what you're going to make. You deliver one package and you can't deliver the rest, you're going to make $88. If you do your block in 2 hours instead of 4 hours, you're going to make $88. If you do your block in 5 hours rather than 4 hours, you're still going to make just $88, unless there's something wrong with that block. Say that instead of having 40 packages, you had 80 for some unknown reason, who knows? And then you would have to file an appeal or a grievance with Amazon Flex, and they'll say yay or nay whether or not you will or won't get the extra pay that you're asking for. Now, that is not from experience. That's just what I've seen on other videos. I have not had that need to do anything like that yet. So right now, I did work 45 minutes over on my first run, my first block. because it was weather. And they did ding me 21 late packages. I did file an appeal, and within 20 minutes, I heard back from them. And they took away all the dings, and my rating went up from fair to great. So supposedly I would get more offers. We'll have to see. I don't know. So Amazon considers when you do a block from their terminal to where you get done at. Okay. So if you leave at their terminal for 4.5 hours, you leave at 1 o'clock, 4:30. You should be done at 4:30 with your route. They don't care about your driving time there. They don't care about your driving time back home. All they care about is from the time that you leave the terminal to the time that you get done with your route. So with that, when you consider what you're paying, it's around $18 to $25 per hour that you'll make gross. Sometimes it'll be higher in good areas. If they do a surge where they need drivers, sometimes they'll raise the price up. I have only seen, in all the times that I've been searching for jobs, the best pay is $121, I think it was, for a 4.5 hour block. Almost everything I see is 4.5 hour block. There are some 3 hour blocks, but not very many. I don't want to do the early morning. I did see 1 2 at 1 2 hour block like 3:15 in the morning. This old man ain't getting up at 3:15 in the morning. I'll let you younger guys do that. So one of the other things that's good about this is you work alone. There's really nobody over your shoulder breathing down on your neck saying go faster, go faster. It's really all up to you. But to say, a lot of people say when you can work Amazon Flex and there's no boss, to say there's no boss is absolutely wrong. There's always a boss. They're just invisible. But at least they're not over your shoulder. They're not breathing down on you. If you're late running your block, and there's nobody's going to say, hey, you got to go faster to get done on time. But if you're late, you're going to get some dings on it. You're going to get knocked around a little bit. If you deliver 5 packages after 5 o'clock, let's say was the end of your block, you're going to get hit with those 5 packages for being late. So yeah, you do get to work alone. To say that there is really no boss looking over your shoulder is not really true. There is a boss. It could be the computer algorithm, but there is somebody, something watching your performance. Now, for the most part, you're not going to talk to anybody. I think the other day, the stop I had was 40 stops, and I think I talked to 2 people, and it's really just hi bye because you got in your mind that it's time for you to get moving. You'll know after a while when you're on package 40 or when you're on package 20 and you got 40 packages that you're going to need another couple hours to finish, probably at least an hour and a half. So, it's usually hi, how you doing? Goodbye. Sometimes I'll make a little joke with the people, if it's a heavy package and I'm handing it to the person. I'll say, what the heck you got in here, Rocks? One guy I delivered a package to, he was waiting for it. I said, you got auto parts in here? It sounded metally. He says, nah, not really. He says, I got trailer parts in there. So, and that was the whole extent of the conversation. Other than that, you generally don't really see anybody the whole day. We were talking about guaranteed per block pay. It's kind of sort of this one's the same thing. Predictable shifts. Once you get to your station and you get on the app and you get to your station, you will see when the blocks are. For the most part, what I see for me is between 1 and 4 o'clock. There's some evenings. There's quite a bit of 3 o'clock in the morning stuff. And I guess from what I understand is if you're picking 1 o'clock in the afternoon, for me right now, that's the best for me. If you're picking 1 o'clock in the afternoon blocks, you're probably going to see more of those pop up when the algorithm figures out, hey, this guy likes to run at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So you're probably more apt to see the 1 o'clock blocks than you are the 4 o'clock blocks as well. I'm not going to take a 4 o'clock block that's going to finish me way too late in the day for me, and I don't want to mess with traffic. Taking a 1 o'clock block, the good thing about it is I'm probably going to get more rural from what I can see because I do mostly rural areas, very little downtown. I don't want to do downtown. I don't like the big city to live, and I certainly don't like it to drive in. So let's talk about some of the cons with Amazon. It's hard to get blocked sometimes. Sometimes you got to sit there tapping for hours. I sat last night, prior to me knowing that my battery was dead in the car, I sat there last night for almost 45 minutes before anything popped up. It wasn't anything I wanted because, again, I'm not going out at 3:15 in the morning. Yeah, if you want to do a 3:15 one, you go right ahead. I don't like getting up in the morning. I don't like driving in the dark, and I'm not going to unless I absolutely positively have to. I'm not doing this to live off of. I'm retired. I got my retirement. I'm doing this to keep me busy and to make a little extra cash. As I said in one of my other videos, I'm trying to buy a shed. And once I get that money for a shed, I can back off and relax. Alrighty, the other thing is wear and tear on your vehicle. So I live in the country. I live about an hour north of my terminal. Now, for the last 30 some odd years, I drove almost everywhere I went for work. I worked on a 1099. I was an information technology specialist in security. So I could go anywhere in the United States and sometimes overseas. You know, you're going to have gas, tires, brakes, all those things are going to wear down. I changed the serpentine belt on my car the other day just to be on the safe side. And of course, I changed it. And then the day after, my alternator went out. Coincidence? I don't know. But that just meant that my alternator was probably going to go out. Luckily, it went out in my driveway. I did have a little problem right here, just a little bit beyond where we are. I stopped the car, and when I stopped the car and I went to start it up, one of my lights for my electronic steering came on, and I've had a bad battery before, so that's indication to me that my battery was having an issue. I drove home just fine, got done with the route, everything was fine, got home, thank goodness, and of course that night, last night, that's when my alternator went out. So my suggestion is, you know, I see a lot of guys with a lot of nice cars out there. Man, don't take your car out there. I used my brand new car once out there. I say brand new, got about 20,000 miles on it. Stays in the garage most of the time. But I took it on the first run because I had some stickers on my cars that I wanted to get off first before I took my car on there. And just throwing them package in there, in and out of the car, just that little bitty one trip, I could see that I was harming my vehicle. So the car that I'm in now is a 2014 Kia Soul. It was my work car that I bought in 2014. It's got about 219,000 on it. I keep the maintenance up on it pretty good. I don't use any gas. My front end alignment is right there, not a problem. I get about 31 miles to the gallon. So, and when I put the seats down, it's fantastic. I got plenty of room. So my suggestion, use an older car. Don't use a newer car. But if all you got's a newer car, that's what you got. But it's gonna make that car old before it's time. Alrighty, one of the other cons about it is you get no benefits. There's no insurance, there's no paid time off, there's no retirement plan, nothing. You're a contractor. All you get from Amazon is your pay. There is some insurance when you're driving the car that they do insure your vehicle. So make sure that when you are driving your car, if you happen to use another car, make sure in the app that you change the app to that other car. Because if not, everything I've read say they may or may not cover it. Now, the insurance covers you and your car. It does not cover anybody else in your car. So if you take your wife along with you, it doesn't cover your wife. If you take kids along with you, it doesn't cover the kids. If you take your dog along with you, it doesn't cover your dogs. Now, I have a service dog. I chose not to bring her on these first few trips that I'm going on until I really get to know the system. I have my dog for PTSD, and as long as nobody messes with me, I'm fine. Now, another con which goes along with the routes can suck is that no control over your delivery area. You have absolutely no control. It's first come, first serve. When you walk in, I think they just give you the next cart that's available. I don't think they say, well, you know what, Randy lives up there in Michigan, let's give him Michigan one. Nope, because if I waited 2 seconds, I might get the Michigan one going up to Michigan, but it's just first come, first serve, whatever next. If they give cart 54 out before you, you might get 55. I don't know how they do it because sometimes in the staging areas, there's no cart next to me. But you're not going to be able to pick, got no control. So got to get used to that. You may go towards your home, you may go away from your home. So one of the other cons is that you cannot quit mid-block. Okay, if you do quit mid-block, I'm tired of this. That's it. I'm mad. I'm torqued off. Maybe you're just having a bad day. You can't quit. You got to keep going because if you quit, and you take your packages back to the station, you put them in the return bin or in a return shelf, whatever your station has, you're going to get marked for that. And that could affect your performance and it could affect the routes that you get in the future. So for us older guys, that's probably not an issue. We already know that once we pick a job, we're committed to that job and we're going to get it done. Younger guys, I've seen some videos out there where they talk about, yeah, you know what, you can just take those packages back. No, I don't think so. I'm going to do my best to deliver, get everything. Maybe there will come a time where I'm going to have to take that package back, but so far that's never happened to me, so I can't speak intelligently about it. But us older guys, us senior guys, we're not just going to give up just because we're upset. We're going to finish it. We may not go out the next day or two, until we cool down or whatever, but we're going to finish our route. So you can't quit your route mid block. So we talked about this a little bit earlier. You're going to pay for your gas. You're going to pay for the maintenance. So the hidden cost really does eat up your pay. Give you an example is on an $88 block, I spend about $30 on gas. So that brings me down to about $58. Now I'm going to give Uncle Sam somewhere around $15 of that. So that's going to bring me down to $43. So I leave the house at noon, I get home at 7, I've made $43. So that's why in the future, when I take a block, I'm going to start taking early blocks, and then when I get done with that block, I'm going to head back to the pickup point, and I'm going to try to pick up another block within a couple hours. And if I do, it'll double my pay, and I won't have to pay gas mileage, back and forth from home all the time. So the hidden costs are going to eat your profit up like no tomorrow. So as I talked on before, if you don't finish your route, you finish your route late, or you return packages, your ratings are going to suffer. And late packages, even if they're not your fault, can hurt your standing. So if you have a late package, and like I did the first time when I went out, and it was raining pretty hard, well, if you don't complain and ask for an appeal like I did, your ratings are going to go down. Mine actually was great. And then when I missed those 21 packages and they finally put it into my account, which took them a few days, I noticed two things. One was that my performance rating dropped from great to fair. And then all the "we've saved this block for you, see if you like it" kind of notices dropped off completely. And I had to start going and looking for the jobs because they wanted better drivers. And they're assuming automatically I did one job, I had 21 late packages, I'm a horrible worker. So once I explained to them, look, it was a torrential downpour, your app sent me through an area that was full of construction. They come back and said, yeah, one or more of your complaints was valid, and we're going to take these away. You'll see a uptick in your performance within a couple of days. You might, is how they put it. You might see an uptick in your performance in a couple of days, and because that was the only complaints I had, or the only bad marks I had, I did. Within 20 minutes, boom, my rating was back up to good, and I started getting those reserved blocks. Hey, this is, I forget exactly what it is, but it's put aside for you. So the bottom line of this is, you know what it's good for? It's good for a side hustle if you need to make a few extra bucks. If you live close, you know what? If you live close to the terminal, you're going to have a whole lot different experience than I have, because I'm spending $30 right off the top, in gas alone. It's good for a little extra cash. I'm going to walk away with like $40. It's not like I was making as a information technology specialist. Let me tell you, I was making 150 bucks an hour. So I'm getting less than half for the whole day for the 4 hour block than what I was when I was working as a specialist. So it's a little bit of extra cash. And it's a flexible schedule. And I think that's probably the best thing, at least for me, for us older guys. It's a flexible schedule. You can do it if you can't do it on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday because you got doctor's appointments. Do it on Thursday. If something comes up on Thursday, like your alternator goes out, like I did, cancel it way beforehand. You won't get punished for it. What it's bad for, in my opinion, full-time income, because you're going to have to hustle. I seen some videos on this, and they say, you can't just do Amazon Flex. You got to do like Spark, or you got to do like DoorDash. Got to do the food side delivery. I don't want to work that hard. Okay, I don't mind going in a day and Given a Saturday, I go in early in the morning, do a route, and then on the way back, if I haven't found one yet, on the way back I'll do something for the afternoon or try to do something for the afternoon by parking near the terminal or in the terminal. The Perrysburg terminal has tons of parking. And I'll sit there till I try to get something. I'll give myself a time. Say I get done at 10 o'clock, I'll give myself 12, 1 o'clock, see if something pops up. And maybe it'll be a surge. Something comes up for 1 o'clock and it's 5 minutes to 1 and I'm still sitting there. Maybe the price will go up. Reliability, you can't count on it. You just can't count on it for money. They want you when they want you. And when they want you might not add up to when you want them. So you might want to work Thursday. There might not be any work Thursday. I'm willing to work on Saturday, Sunday, and the holidays. It doesn't matter to me. And, I can always grab something early Christmas Day, say, and deliver. And then if they deliver packages on Christmas Day, and then go back home in time for dinner. That works for me. That may not work for you. For us retired guys, all our kids are gone. We can work those Saturdays or Sundays as long as our personal life doesn't get in the way. For you younger guys, this might be your full-time income, and then you're really going to have to hustle. I don't have to hustle. And the last thing is long-term use of your vehicle. Look, you're going to use your vehicle. You're going to be throwing those packages in the back. You're going to put them on your seat. You're going to put them in the front seat. You're going to be driving mile after mile after mile to the terminal, from the terminal, to the drop-off sites, to the houses, to the businesses. You're going to be in a hurry some days. Some days you're not going to be in a hurry. It's going to be a lot of wear and tear on your car. So your car is going to need some tender loving care. And if you do it like me, where you have about $42 after expenses, you're going to put a little bit of money aside because you're going to have to spend some money. Alternator for me costs $500. So I'm already a whole lot in the toilet from money I've earned from doing Amazon Flex to the money that I've actually put out to keep my car in good shape so far. So Amazon Flex is freedom. Look, you can take jobs when you want. You can take jobs when you don't want to. You can work Monday and Tuesday. You don't have to work the rest of the week. So you have that freedom. You don't have that freedom with a regular job. If you're a regular Amazon driver, you don't have that freedom. You can go in whatever hours they tell you to go in. Here, you pick and choose when you want to go in. So you got that freedom. It can be decent money if you live close enough to the terminal and you work hard and you do more than one block a day. It could be really good money. $88 isn't too bad, but I personally wish it was more. But it's not. If I live closer to the terminal, like if I lived a couple miles from the terminal, it'd be decent money. But it just isn't. And it's inconsistent. I sat there, like I said the other day, for 45 minutes trying to find something for the next day, and nothing ever came up. It's a good thing nothing came up because I would have had to cancel it because my car broke down. And the other thing is the wear and tear on your car. It goes right into it. A new alternator is going to cost me $500. And I don't think I've made $500 yet. I'm close to it, but I don't think I've made $500 yet. I'm only taking one block a day, and that's a couple times a week. So one block every time I go in. I was planning on this weekend doing 2 blocks in one day if possible. We'll have to see how that goes, and when that happens, I'll let you all know. So I hope this has helped a little bit. These are just my personal perspective on what I've seen so far. I am no expert. If you like what you hear, hey, do me a favor. Give me a thumbs up, like it, and comment. If you got some questions, ask me. I'll be glad to answer any questions that I can. And with that, this is Crumbs, and I'll see all of you on my next Amazon video.